So I'm in the middle of watching Friends, okay? Now, Friends is about a show about friends, okay? If you don't know what Friends is, it's just about a show where they just talk about their friends, and they're in New York, and they do weird, crappy stuff. Weird, crappy, not really crappy. Mainly weird. They have weird comedies then in there, but honestly, I like weird, you know? I think it's fun, okay? And honestly, I never enjoyed watching a show ever like Friends, okay? Friends is funny, okay? I've never watched Friends, and I know people in the comments, they'll be like, oh, I watched Friends like 10 years ago, oh, you know what I'm saying? Stuff like that. Well, here's the thing. I didn't have, that aspect where I can, get a subscription, pay $20 a month 5 years ago, right? So I didn't actually have that luxury of paying, money so I can watch movies. So most of the time I would just hear it from people, and yeah, at the end of the day, especially with that show, for some reason it attracted younger audiences than older audiences as it meant to be. Like nowadays I quite literally feel like more and more younger people like you know what I'm saying, getting into that show than older audiences. It's kind of weird, but in such a way it's really awesome, and it's a really old show. It's like 1995 or something like that. And honestly, I've never watched Friends. I have never seen Friends. I have never even heard about Friends for such a very long time. Hell, I even made jokes in the past talking about, hey, what if they made a show called Friends? Wouldn't that be funny? And people just look at me weird. But here I am in the big old 2026, seeing my social media covered with clips of Friends, and I'm like, there's a show called Friends. So I go ahead and I click the show on IMAX. I click the show and I see what it is, and the first 3 seasons absolutely hooked me. And for some reason the very first episode was very weird, but ever since then I absolutely loved it, and it was amazing. You have to understand, a lot of TV shows nowadays either focuses so much on politics and then they try to be funny, or they focus so much on funny and then they try to be on the political side for some unknown reason. Like seriously, I don't know where it comes, okay? Like one moment it's funny, next moment it's politics. But with shows like Friends and The Big Bang and all these types of stuff, they stick with their genre, okay? I think that's what I like about it, okay? They stick with their genre, they have really good character development, and other than that, it just feels fun to watch. And even with Friends, right, it actually feels like you're watching a show where your friends could be in it, probably in a less innocent way, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? The whole group chat meme, if someone finds my group chat, throw away my phone. Yeah, right? But that's what I'm talking about. With Friends, it feels like you're watching this. You know what I'm saying? You're living your life, right? And honestly, it feels awesome, and I absolutely do enjoy the show. And I think the show probably deserves a little bit more recognition for some reason. But I do heard that there are literally every season is like $20 million or something like that. Or like maybe every single person who plays played in the character in Friends earns $20 million a year. So I don't know how popular the show is. If it's not popular, it needs more recognition. If it is, well, just keep on getting more recognition. I think Friends is such an amazing show. And I think one of my very, very, very favorite episodes, I think it was like episode 2 or 3. And it was pretty much when, I don't know, I watched a lot of episodes, but it was pretty much when, apparently this guy got a girl pregnant, but the girl turned out to be a lesbian. That was a whole scenario, but it was funny. I loved it, and it was amazing. Also, what I like about it is also sometimes when you watch the show, they actually have 3 main, like what they do is, and shows don't do this a lot, right? They just focus on one arc every single episode, and then end it off like Miraculous Ladybug. One arc, one arc, right? So all of these stuff, right? It's like mainly focused on one specific thing, while Friends, sometimes what they'll do is they'll focus on 3 main stories in one episode and just end it off like that. But overall, that's pretty much it. I can't really talk too much about Friends. I just want to make a video on it because I think it's really good. I watched 3 seasons, and I will make a video once I finish it. But other than that, that's pretty much it. And yeah, so just want to ramble about Friends. But other than that, that's pretty much it. Peace. Take care, y'all.